We'll see how this works out. Did a little bit of a different workflow today, and we'll see what the result is here. And let me go to my videos and see if I can find this particular broadcast so that I can monitor the chat. And let's see. All right. Audio sounds good. And what I did today, a little bit different procedure. I started the Video Pro, and then I set up the event and all on it, and then I rebooted it before the broadcast. So of course now we don't have the chipmunk voice, but we don't know if this is going to consistently work or not, because the chipmunk voice isn't a consistent thing anyhow. But in any event, this particular workflow helped in this case. So we're going to talk again about super dress watches, specifically this stunner on wrist. And somebody said, well, you can't really wear that, you know, in a casual situation and so on. So I figured I'd wear this Congressional Country Club golf shirt. And this is casual. This is a casual shirt. I think the watch looks fine. Let me know what you think. I think the watch looks fine with this casual shirt. And let's get a close-up on it. There's the stunner. There's a close-up of the stunner. Looks pretty good to me. Looks pretty good. Let me know what you think. And then in the in-house movement Facebook group, a gentleman posted this watch here. And he said, with a hoodie or dress shirt, this one seems to be never out of place. And this is a perfect example, folks, where sometimes people just need a little bit of help. Sometimes they just need a little bit of help. Okay, sometimes they go off the reservation and they buy an ugly watch. And so this is a case here where this gentleman thinks that this watch looks good, but it's a total fail. Okay, now, if that watch had been 18 karat yellow gold and that strap was black, or that strap was even dark brown, he'd have an argument to make, right? But with that silly gray strap, and with, I guess it's a steel watch, that is pretty much a total fail. And don't get me started on that shirt. Don't get me started on that shirt. So some people just need a little bit of consulting, need a little bit of help. They drift off a little bit, and they make some serious mistakes. But hopefully on this channel, hopefully the people that have been watching this channel don't make those kinds of mistakes. Hopefully they can avoid stepping in it a little bit, like that gentleman obviously did with that piece right there. That was definitely a mistake, especially posting it in social media, acting like it's a good-looking watch. I mean, that qualifies as a box watch. I would definitely put that in a box, close the box, and put it off somewhere out of the way. That would be a good place for that watch. Usually I'm not a fan of putting a watch in a box. Usually I like them on wrist, but in that case I will make an exception. Durr's in the house. He says we got a pre-game show going. Kyle's in the house. Well, we're early here, and you can wear a dress watch with any outfit you like. You just have to carry yourself well. Cheetown in the house. And Lamont's in early. Whoa, yo. Lamont's in early. He's all over the place. And let's see here. Cartier. And Durr says Lamont's in the house. My dad's always telling me not to be late. I got you. I'm all about that. Yeah, Cheetown's in the house. That Cartier's okay, but I'm a Reverso fan, probably with a brown, black, or caramel leather strap. Yeah, and yellow gold. Yeah, absolutely, an 18 karat yellow gold. I agree. Let's see, Craig, you are starting to be like that old guy up the street yelling at folks to get off the lawn. There you go. Absolutely. I'm definitely the old guy. There's no doubt about that. Durr's in the house. I think that blue thing at the top, 12 o'clock position on the rectangular watch, is almost as ugly as Michelle Obama. Jeez. Yeah, I don't know what that blue thing adds to the picture. I really don't. I really don't think that that's a plus either. That's the whole thing right there. Let's see now. Should I change the dial on my day date from tapestry to navy blue dial? No. No, 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 no. Don't just change that dial for no apparent reason. That's not a really good move, I don't think. Brett is in the house, and he's out gallivanting around, God knows where, somewhere in South America or something. He's all over the place. Carlos, speaking of people that are all over the place, he's over somewhere in Italy or somewhere over that way. Our Wags is in the house. I'm going to be late. I have a Zoom call at 5. Hi, Chip and everybody. There you go. Well, at least you popped in and said hi. Knock 'em dead in that Zoom call. And Brett says, hope all are well. Viva Mexico. There you go. Craig, have you seen any shell Cordovan straps? No, I have not. And I don't know if I would want to go that direction. I think I would rather stick with alligator or croc, I think, for my straps. I think that's kind of the way that I would go. But shell Cordovan would probably be interesting. Probably hold up pretty good. Hard to say. Brett in here, okay. Let's see. And he's relaxing. Yeah, let us know if you can Skype in and give us a look round. Let's see. Stig is in the house. Lance, I wear my Submariner, and Craig is right. The maxi case is a misunderstanding. Craig is always right. And at the end of the day, when all is said and done, that usually ends up to be the case. I'm sorry to say. I got a friend down in Virginia that he resists. He always resists. He resisted for years getting an iPhone. He was stuck in the Android quagmire. And then he finally got an iPad first. And then he said, wow, this is really good. And then he got an iPhone, and he's like, my gosh, I'll never go back. Then, of course, he was stuck in the Windows quagmire for years. And then he recently got an Apple laptop, the 16-inch Apple laptop they came out with, that powerhouse. And he freaking loves it. He's like, oh, my God, I wish I would have switched to Mac like years ago. And so, you know, he's slowly coming around, but he's the one that still buys the cheap shirts and the cheap khakis from Costco, and he's the one that bought those Chinese-made boots. So he hasn't come around completely yet. He's slow. He's a little bit slow, but on the uptake. But he'll get there. And somebody says it's hot. Leon says it's hot in Maryland. I did walk earlier, and it was a little bit warm. Brett's in the house. Of course, it's a little bit cooler here up in the mountains, if you can call this a mountain. A little bit of elevation. Let's see. And Brett says he's missing his stunner. Yeah, I hear you. That's the problem when you travel and you leave your stunner at home. Like some years when I would go down to Florida, I'd leave my Date 8 up here, and I wouldn't take it with me, and then I'd miss it. And then some years I'd go ahead and take it down there with me. So it just depended. But you're right, you do miss the stunner. When you leave a stunner behind, you do tend to miss it. And let's see. And living the dream, Carlos. Okay. Where is Carlos? Let's get a report on Carlos. Let's see. Malta is a fascinating country. The people there speak a type of Arabic, by the way. Okay. Like Craig said, life is too short to not have a stunner on wrist. There you go. That's right. There's Carlos. I love that area of Mexico. Are you visiting Tulum? Okay. And Leon's in the house. Did you watch the Dodgers and D-backs last night? Baseball without any fans in the stands is pretty nice. I have to admit. Okay. Lewis says, my office building's AC broke. It's hot as hell, even with 3 box fans pointing at me. Well, yeah. Let's see. Speaking of iPhones, my Pixel 3 consistently overheats when outside on video calls. I switched to a 7-year-old iPhone 5S and no overheating problems. There you go. That's the deal with the iPhones. They just work. And Kyle's in the house. He says, Leon, I didn't see it. What is the plan for the season? Is every game going to be without fans? Leon says, Craig, your friend is smart. I don't regret many things, but I regret buying my iPhone. If it was not for needing the RSA token for work, I would have run that damn iPhone over with my Elantra. Well, I have to say, going back to Android would be a total fail, so there's that. No, iPhone is always the way to go. Let's see, Durr's in the house. Craig, who is the guy that does the like, subscribe, and share this video at the end of some of your vids when you're not having somebody say it live? It sounds like a professional radio voice. That is Dan McDermott. That is the guy I'm talking about down in Virginia that owns a newspaper down there, and he did that voiceover. He's got all the gear and everything to do that kind of stuff, and I think he did a pretty good job. So that's Dan, and he's the one that bought a guitar the other day, a nice Martin $2,300 acoustic, and he's learning to play it, and he says when he's ready, when he feels like he's ready, he's going to Skype into the show and entertain us. He's a really good singer, but he's just learning how to play the guitar, so there you go. That's how that whole thing works. Let's see, Cheetown Craig, what do you think about the upcoming iOS 14? Haven't really thought about it. I usually do not upgrade to new operating systems until they've been out for a while. I let them get any bugs out of them, and usually a few months after, I'll go ahead and pull the trigger on something like that, especially for my work computer. My main computer that I do my editing on and everything is not running the latest operating system. The latest Apple operating system. So I do have one legacy program that will not run because it's 32-bit if I do the upgrade, but eventually I'll do it because I don't really need that program that much anymore. I don't use it that much. So at some point I'll upgrade, but I usually stay one system back just to be on the safe side, right? So let's see, Chi, I arrived this afternoon. Malta looks great so far. I will report later this week once I infiltrate on local population and get more information. Yeah, take it slow, Carlos. Don't expose yourself. Don't blow your cover. And Lance says, yes, once in a while. Okay, enjoy yourself there, says Cheetown. Buy once, cry once with guitars. Dan made the right decision to buy the Martin. No, I'm sorry, he didn't buy a Martin. He bought a Taylor. I'm sorry. He looked at the Martin and the Taylor. He liked the sound on the Taylor better. They were both priced about the same. He liked the sound on the Taylor better, so that's what he ended up getting. So, and it was a little bit small. He's a small guy, and it was a little bit smaller, so he looks better with it. So I believe that's what he got, a Taylor. Yeah. Sorry about that. It sounds like I misspoke. But anyway, it is a high-end guitar. Where is Kent? He needs to call in. I gave him a new webcam the other day, and I don't know if he's getting everything set up so that he can do that or not. But we'll see what we can do on that. Choo Choo Charlie and Dan McDermott can do a guitar duo. There you go. Craig, when are you going back on Archie Luxury Show? Probably never. Probably never. They were pretty nasty. So probably never. And I don't think I'll be invited to go back anyway, so I think it's a non-issue. Let's see. Cheetown. My MacBook Pro is 9 years old, so I'm well past getting any more OS updates. This one here that I'm screen sharing is 10 years old. That's a 2010 MacBook Pro, and it still works. And see, I can still share a photo of the GS Stunner. The GS Stunner. And speaking of Italy, that's where that deployant clasp is made. That's where that deployant clasp is made. Absolutely. And again, it's just an absolute stunner. Stunner alert on the channel. Stunner alert. Stunner alert on the channel. Turn away if you don't want to be exposed to an absolute stunner. turn away now. There you go. I'm wearing it, so that you're going to be exposed no matter what you do. Let's see. Where is Kent? He needs to call in. I think he's up in Pennsylvania. I'll see what he's doing and see if he's got that set up. Let's see here. Carlos says, I am a Craig's angel. There you go. Absolutely. I saw the video about the fruit and veggie place. How do you pronounce Catoctin? Catoctin. Yeah, Catoctin. Catoctin Mountain Orchard. Yeah. So there you go. It's a nice place. Nice guy that owns it. Robert Black owns it. Chi-Town. I personally wouldn't buy a new MacBook because of how unrepairable they are and how many issues their butterfly keyboards have. They've improved the new keyboards supposedly, so supposedly they've solved that. I haven't had any problems with any of my keyboards, including my 2017 that has the questionable keyboard, right? I haven't had any problems at all with it, so I think that was kind of an overstated problem in the first place. Let's see, Lewis is in the house. Craig, which GS would you choose if you couldn't have the 3 you own? Wow. I'd probably buy one of those new ones that came out. Those ones like the Superman, like those ones that are blue with the red hand and all that. Those 60th anniversary ones. I thought a couple of those were pretty cool. I'd probably get the one that's the 9F movement. Probably be the way I would go. If you've seen those. Maybe Lance can send in an email. He sent an email, he says already, but maybe he can send an email of the 60th anniversary unit that he thinks would be the one to pick. Let's let Lance pick one of the 60th anniversary units. See what he comes up with. Do they serve Malta and Malta? Yes, but I don't think you need to be using Teddy's Facebook post with the Cartier. That man could not figure out style if it bit him on the rear. I hear you, but he didn't post that. One of his members posted that. So there you go. We can't blame him for that one. My iPad's 9 years old and still going strong. Craig is right again. There you go. Stig in the house. And Carlos says, Mr. Q, so far I only had dry martini and water. Lewis is in the house. There are many GS models that don't get any love but are stunning. Sent an email. Okay, we're going to check that email. Let's see. And Brett says, Tulum is horrible. It's just like Cancun. Okay. All right. Sorry to hear that. Okay, so let's pull up this email. See what the Lancer sent. Okay. Let's see what he sent. It's a Vacheron. Loading in slow. We will. Okay. Here we go. And we've talked about Vacheron as a competitive advantage before. Now this one is sold. Interesting. We've talked about this one before. These are pretty interesting. I have to say that's a pretty stunning piece. Pretty stunning piece. I'm not a big fan of the Roman numerals, but in this case it's pretty cool. It just has, you know, the 4 Roman numerals on it. Of course, I'd probably replace that strap with a dark brown or a black. I'm not a real fan of that. Color is just not that versatile, and I don't like changing my straps often. That's interesting. What is that on the side? Is that, what is it? They wouldn't put like 18K on the side there. What the heck is that? You see that? The heck is that? And I don't like the side view. I don't like the shape of this case from the side. I would like it more tapered. I don't know. It just looks, and the crown is not that attractive. It's a nice piece. I do like it. in some ways, but yeah, I would pass. I do like the contrasting secondhand. That's a nice photo of it. But yeah, I think that the 002 has a beat by a country mile. By a country mile, folks. By a country mile. I mean, look at the polishing on that. Look at the I mean, look at the way it plays with the light. Are you kidding me? I mean, no Vacheron can match that. I hate to say it. I hate to say it. Not going to happen. Kevin D. Craig, does GS make 9F dress watches anymore? I know they do for the Japan market. I don't know if they do for the U.S. market or not. That would be a question for the Stevester. Kyle's in the house. My 2009 iMac still works, but I did upgrade in 2017 to a new one for main use. I also have a couple of Windows PCs for work. Yeah. Yeah, I have a 2017 is my laptop, which is my main workhorse workstation, and I do have a external GPU, eGPU hooked up to it. Triforce Rich is in the house. And Brett says, beautiful piece, Craig. Okay. Are you talking about the Vacheron? Let's see. Lance, look on watchrecon.com. This will show watches sold on a lot of forums. The best thing about buying on a forum is that they police themselves and will push away all the junk. Let's see. Kyle in the house. Brett and I have seen and tried on several Vacheron. Nothing to write home about, in my opinion, but the one Lance sent was better than anything they had in the boutique. Does anyone own one? It's a good question. I don't think that many people do own Vacherons. Okay, let's go back. I've tried all the big brands, and the most impressive was Lange. Okay, Cheetown Craig, do you prefer crew neck or V-neck t-shirts? Okay, so if I'm going to wear, like a lot of times I'll wear a dress shirt, open collar, then I'll wear a V-neck. I'll wear a V-neck t-shirt underneath, right? Because I just don't like showing the shirt, right? You can. I mean, it's not. There's no rule says it's a problem. But yeah, that's when I will wear a V-neck, and that's the only time I'll wear a V-neck is when I'm wearing a, a typical shirt. Call it a dress shirt, whatever you want to call it. A typical shirt with the collar open. If I've got the collar closed and I'm wearing a tie, then I might wear a crew neck T-shirt underneath there, right? Because it doesn't matter. It's not going to show, right? But if I've got the collar open, then I would wear a V-neck T-shirt. So I have both. I have both crew neck and V-neck. And I don't wear any of them just out as a shirt. I wear them underneath a real shirt, right? If that makes any sense. Kyle's in the house, and Lance is in the house. He says, I'll check it out. They show a lot of vintage, and Triforce Rich is in the house. And Brett says, nah, your GS Stunner, hard pass on the Vacheron. Okay. And the lovely Bree is in the house. She says hi to everybody. And let's see. I prefer V-necks with open collar dress shirts. It doesn't look right with a crew neck. I agree. And Bree, you can always let us know if you're going to Skype in. You're always welcome to give us an update and a little fitness tip. I know you can't do it every day, but when you can, you have a standing invitation, as does anybody else. Anybody else that wants to Skype in and give us an update, you have a standing invitation. People seem to like it when guests pop in. Kyle, Windows makes me pull out hairs, but like you have to live with it. There you go. Fortunately, I don't have anything I do that I need to have a Windows machine, so I feel blessed. Triforce Rich is in the house. I'd rather sweat than wear a T-shirt under my shirt. I think it looks awful. If I'm hot, I'll unbutton a couple of buttons. Triforce Rich. how are they going to see the shirt if it's underneath your shirt? To me, I think it's much more comfortable to wear a white T-shirt underneath, because if you do sweat a little bit, it gets on that instead of your shirt, getting like bad like sweat stains under the arms and all that stuff. To me, wearing a T-shirt underneath is preferable, and I don't know how anybody would see it, especially if you're wearing a tie. I don't think there's any chance they're going to see it. Let's see here. But it is what it is. Let's see. Some people prefer, like you say, not to wear them. There was some movie where the star didn't wear a shirt underneath his shirt, right? And there was a love scene where she took off his shirt, right? And he didn't have a T-shirt on, and then like a T-shirt sales like fell through the fell through the floor. I mean, they just, nobody wanted to buy them. And then the other thing, of course, when Jack Kennedy was elected president, and he didn't wear a hat, right? Hat sales took a big hit because he wasn't wearing a hat. So there you go. Let's see. We should do a show dedicated to the big three. I've seen nothing from any of those brands that I like. I've been to all their stores and seen many pieces in person. I hear you. Craig, what's your opinion on Seiko kinetic movements? I had one and I sold it to Dave Serio. He still has it. Let me see if I can pull up a picture. Give me a second here. I don't know if I have it indexed properly. I know I took a picture of it, but it may or may not be indexed properly. It had an orange dial, and he bought it because it matches his car. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. There's let me see here. Maybe we'll get lucky. Give me a second here. No, I must not have put it in a, let me search orange and see if we get lucky. No, I didn't tag it. Anyway, I had a Japan market only dive watch with an orange dial that was pretty cool, and it had the kinetic movement in it. And as far as I know, it still runs. I sold it to Dave Serio several years ago, and he still has it. And as far as I know, it still runs. But I think that they can give trouble. And I think especially if you buy a more modern one, this was a fairly high-end Japan market-only watch, and maybe it's a little better than some of them. I think a lot of the Seikos now have some quality control issues unless you buy the higher-end ones. I think that's kind of the deal. Cheetown's in the house. An undershirt is fine because you can wear the same shirt to bed. There you go. Try first, Rich. You can see a shirt unless you are using heavier fabric, but I have pretty good vision, so maybe just me. Well, yeah, most of my shirts, it's not easy to see through them. They're pretty tightly woven, pretty, expensive fabrics that are fairly tightly woven, and you're not going to easily see through those because I pretty much don't have any shirts that are junk that you could easily see through. Triforce Rich is in the house. You can see a shirt unless you're using... Okay, I just read that one. I hear you say, don't use PC for personal use. Lewis, Craig, you should wear the 005 during one of the streams. It's getting lonely. Just look at the blue peeling. The blue, I try to get it at an angle so that you can see some of that blue popping out. It is a stunning watch, and it's a damn shame that it is really, it's a bench watch now. I hate to say it. I hate to be the one to say it and admit it right here live. It's a bench watch. That is a bench watch now. Let's see. Seiko Connect movements are a novel idea, but I'd rather go with solar quartz and have fewer moving parts to go wrong. And I think there's problems with the capacitor or whatever that's holding the juice in those kinetic movements. I think there's some issues, some potential issues there. So yeah, I think there's some issues. Tim's in the house. Lance, I have had a kinetic movement for 15 years and working fine, plus 10 seconds fast a month. However, I think they need to be worn. If the battery is run down, I think it deteriorates. Okay, there you go. Good point. Agreed, Town, but the Citizen has the edge there. And Lamont says, Craig, what this is watches. What this is watches. Okay. All right. So let me. And speaking of the dress watches, speaking of 9F dress watches, remember that stunner that I had? Remember that watch? That was a stunner back in the day. That was a stunner back in the day. Not bad. Not bad at all. It'd be cool if they made that one in 38.5 mils. With a 2017 newer dial. That would be a tempting piece because they could keep the price relatively low, I think. So there you go. That was the stunner that a subscriber just had to have it, and he now has it. That was a nice watch. The other thing I didn't like about that is not having the deployant clasp. I really love the deployant clasp, so that was the other thing. If the 005 is third place in your book, that's one heck of a third place watch. Yeah, you're right. You are right. Craig is running a partner tennis team, and the 005 has been benched by CraigShipp. Yeah, you got that right. Citizen also has better quality control than equivalent price Seikos. Good point. Lance says, I think that the kinetic technology is very cool. However, it combines an automatic with quartz. So here's the deal, Lance. When are you going to? You got to send us the email with the 60th anniversary that you would pick. 60th anniversary model that you would pick. We still got to address that question that came earlier, if you recall. Let's see here. So Craig, are you on your 5th or 6th GS? Well, I had 2 snowflakes. Okay, I had the 231 diver right there on the left. I had 2 snowflakes. Okay, I had 2 snowflakes. Then I got the 005, right? Then I got the 002, but in the meantime, I also had that 9F stunner. So I've had 6. I had the 9F gold stunner, right? That would be the 6th. So, and Tim says, my kinetic movement is going strong after 15. Okay, we already read that. Who bought it, Craig? I don't remember now. Darn it. That's terrible. It was a subscriber, and now I don't remember. Maybe somebody with a better memory than me in the chat will tell us who bought it. Maybe somebody will remember and tell us. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I just don't remember. Let's see. That's terrible, but I just don't. I'm thinking of getting the Citizen Chronomaster. I'll Skype in and review and compare it with the 005 of Craig Reed. Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. We should get an update on the gold 9F from the purchaser. Yes, we should do that. Those are affordable too. Those are readily available. And somebody could probably get a deployant clasp for it somehow. Maybe somebody could wrangle an 18 karat gold deployant clasp. That would make a nice piece of kit for somebody who wants a smaller, a smaller watch. They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. Let's see here. Blue purchased the gold stunner. See, now Carlos knows everything. Carlos knows everything. What was his full handle? What was his full handle? We also should get an update from the person that bought the date 8 as well. There must be an email trail. There you go. Blue was here yesterday. Okay. Sent the 60th anniversary GS. Okay. Let's see what he sent. Let's see here. I mean, I don't mind taking a trip down memory lane, but I do prefer to look forward and to move forward. Okay, but here is a 60th anniversary unit. But no, I'm not going to go with, is that steel, I'm assuming? I'm assuming it's not platinum. Either way, I don't want either. I would rather have, if I'm going to go with a dress watch, I would rather go with something that is 18 karat yellow gold. And also, I don't particularly like the way those lugs attach to the case. It's okay. It's not the end of the world, but I would like a little more flow there, a little more rounded than going like straight into the case like that. So yeah, that one I'm not so sure. I think I'd rather have one of those 60th anniversary watches, one of the ones that are like with the blue dial with the red accents. I think that would be cooler. So yeah, that's more what I was thinking about. Let's see. Craig, would you rather a sub or Pepsi GMT? Well, if you're talking about the current watches, the Pepsi GMT, not even a close call, because I don't like the super case on the subs. The Pepsi GMT, they soften those lugs a little bit, just enough, and that together with the Jubilee, I think really makes the watch look a lot better. It looks a lot less chunky, in my opinion. Let me know in the chat if you guys agree with that. And also, by the way, the Pepsi's thinner on wrist. So yeah, Pepsi, not even a close call. Try First Rich, I think a dress watch should emphasize artistry and mechanical beauty. So the quartz doesn't work for me. Spring drive is fine. There you go. Triforce Rich. There you go. Well, the advantage to the 9F is it's literally a grab-and-go watch. I mean, it can literally sit for a week or 2 weeks or whatever, right? And you can grab it and go. So that's the significant advantage to a 9F. And, of course, extreme durability and the no need to service it, extremely robust. I mean, there are some advantages to the 9F. And, of course, the price would be a lot less. So there are some advantages. Having said all that, I love the spring drive in this puppy. Let's see if I can get that in better focus. Why doesn't that? That's about as close as I can get it. That is never gets old looking at the spring drive. Let's see. Do you know, Craig? Did Steve get the green limited GS watches in stock? I don't know, but he is going to do a show this week. He's promised me. He's got a show scheduled. He's promised me he's going to do a show this week. So have all your questions ready, folks. Hit him up with the questions. The 9F Gold Stunner was an amazing watch. Yes, it was, especially for the money. Try First Rich, I don't want a grab-and-go dress watch, though. I want beauty. A suit isn't always the most practical, but it looks great. Kind of my analogy. There you go. Yeah, but that 9F looked pretty stunning. It did. It looked pretty stunning. But yeah, the second hand was going click, click, click. But, you know, how many people are really going to notice that. They're going to notice the beautiful case and the gold, and they're going to notice your whole suit and everything you're wearing. I think that's how that whole thing goes down. But I hear you. Let's see. What if compare date pre-maxi cases? Would you still rather Pepsi? Well, here's the thing. I mean, I can answer that question definitively because back in the day, for the most part, I wore GMT Masters. I wore a sub for a while, but most of those years, those 40 years that I wore Rolex watches, most of those years I was wearing in rotation with a day date a GMT Master. Now there were some years that I wore an Omega Seamaster 120, and there were a few years that I wore a sub, the red sub, but most of those years, the lion's share of those years, I was absolutely wearing GMT Master. So that should answer your question right there. It's what I did that matters, right? So, yes, Kyle's in the house. I like the Goldeneye F2. If the dial was post 2017, it would have been perfect. Yeah, and I think they do make them, but they are very hard to find. But I think they do make them. That same watch with the newer dial. But good luck finding one. Let's see. And if you did find one, that would be pretty cool. I think it would be pretty cool. Mr. Q's in the house. The mountains are calling. If I get a decent signal over the next few days, we'll report via Skype. Okay, cool. Where are you located, Mr. Q? Okay. Trevor Switch says, your 002 is stunning. Don't overuse the word. That quartz was okay, but your 002 is a work of beauty. Triforce Rich in the house. I guess you're right about that. I guess you're right about that. And I'll tell you what, I've looked at a lot of watches over the years, and I can honestly say I've not seen one that trumps this one. Just the way it sits on the wrist, the dial, the indices, the way the indices catch the light, just everything about it, even the deployant clasp, the way it functions and the way it looks, just the right amount of gold on it, just that nice polish with the nice GS. I mean, pretty freaking amazing. So yeah. Yeah, pretty amazing stuff. I really didn't want to like the watch. I mean, I didn't want to spend all the money. I mean, if you guys recall, the coronavirus thing had already started. You know, we had a lot of questionable things, you know, with cash flow and things like that. And you know, when I went to see the watch, I really wanted to pick it apart. I wanted to find something wrong with it and say, well, no, I don't think so, right? But when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Of course, I didn't tell Steve that right away because I was still negotiating, but, you know, I thought to myself, oh my gosh. And the rest is history. Tim's in the house. The 002 is stunning, but extra 20K. There you go. Good question. Yeah, that's right. Kyle's in the house. Craig, did you see my question about Steve? Well, you asked about the green watches. Yeah, right? Did you ask something else? But yeah, I saw that question. But yeah, like I say, you're going to have to ask. He's doing a show this week, so have all your questions ready. Gino, if GS makes a trimmer titanium GMT, are you ditching the 231? That would be tempting if it was really a stunner. Let's say it was 12 mils thick. Let's get hypothetical here. Let's say it was 12 mils thick. It had a beautiful case design. It was a GMT. And it was, let's say, 42 mil. I don't think I want to go down to 40 mil. Let's say it was 42 mil, and it was a GMT, and it had a clasp with micro adjustments. I could give up the extension mechanism if I had to. As long as I had micro adjustments, I can live with it, with easily adjustable micro adjustments. I can live without the extension clasp. I like the extension clasp. I really do. I use it a lot, but I could live without it. But I would have to have the micro extensions. A watch like that would be very tempting. It'd be very, very tempting. It would be tempting. But I'll tell you, it would have to really be something to trump the 231. It would have to really be something. But is that doable? It's doable. It's doable. Things like that are doable. Let's see. GS is a fly-under-the-radar watch for winners, unlike a Tudor, which is a no-fly zone watch for losers. Tudor sucks. Durr throwing Tudor under the bus. I think, don't you own a Tudor, Durr? I thought you owned one. Mr. Q is in the house. Kyle, Florida is home base, but heading into the Smoky Mountains for some cooler weather. Yeah, trying to get some elevation. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Get a little bit of elevation there. All right, let's look at a few more photos. Time check while I pull up these photos. Here's that clasp from the 9F Stunner. There's the clasp. And there's the back, what the back looked like. I mean, it's more of a utility dress watch, really. I think you're right. It doesn't have the pop and the panache of the 002, but it's pretty impressive looking. I mean, look at that shot there. It's pretty impressive looking for what it is. It really is. That was a lot of watch for the money. That was a lot of watch for the money. It still is. I mean, they're still available. They're still kicking around. Elegant looking piece. I did enjoy wearing it. It didn't center it didn't center well on the wrist as far as the clasp and all. It just didn't center right. It wasn't the right length on both sides. But of course, I could have cured that with a custom strap from HD Straps, but I didn't own it long enough to really do all that. So, yeah. Demonstrating how it can go under the cuff. And there it is on wrists for sizing. You notice how that definitely looks smaller than the 002. When on wrist, let's see. If GS makes anything trimmer, I ditch my current 005. GS currently has an obesity problem. Well, yeah, in other words, one of the reasons why you bought the 005 is it's so trim. I agree. It's very nice and trim on the wrist. It's a great all-arounder. The 005 is a great all-arounder. But as anything that's all around, it's not a master of anything, right? It's a compromise watch. It's a sport watch that can be worn for dress, that can, it's not going to do either perfectly, but it's flexible enough to do both. And in that role, it's pretty freaking awesome, and it's a damn good value, if you ask me. Nice, looking forward to the report. Okay. GS will never make a micro adjustment bracelet on their regular bracelets. Some of their GMTs had micro adjustments. Some of them did. So if it's a GMT, it just might. It just might have it. Let's see. Lewis says, I'm sure the up-and-coming, more expensive tier of GS will have micro adjustments if you want to spend that kind of money for it. Well, I think he's right about the dressier watches, the watches that are more designed for dress. I don't think they're going to go with micro adjustments on those. I think they're going to stay away from micro adjustments on those, but I think a lot of their sport models, I think maybe they will head that direction on the sport models. I'm hoping they will, because a lot of people have complained about it, so hopefully they will. In Durzen House, I have a Tudor and can confirm it's a turd. I hold on to it so whenever I feel down, I can look at that garbage and see where I've been compared to where I am now. Then I instantly feel better. Okay, so it's serving a purpose. I see. I get it. And Kyle gets it. He understands. Craig, does wearing an expensive watch such as Day-Date send a bad message to potential buyers when you work in sales, such as being a car salesman? No, I don't think so at all. No, I think as long as you're dressing well, if everything, the whole package, you're dressing well, I think that most people want to deal with successful people and want to be around successful people. So I don't think it's a detraction at all. I don't think it's a detraction at all. So we never had any problem. We were always well dressed and everything, and those of us that were, we tend to sell more cars and made more money. And the salesmen that dressed more like bums, they usually didn't last very long, and they usually didn't sell that many cars. So that's how that whole thing worked, at least back in the day. I don't know if now nowadays a lot of these car dealerships, the guys are wearing like shirts like this with the logo of the car company on them, you know, and they're wearing like, you know, they're just dressed relatively casually. So I don't know that most car salesmen are dressing up anymore these days. I think they're just kind of, you know, dressing, like I say, like the Honda dealer that I know, they're wearing shirts with Honda on them and the name of the company, you know, shirts similar to the one I'm wearing now. So there you go. Let's see. Speaking of size issues, apparently 71% of 17 to 24-year-old Americans are unfit for combat duty, mainly due to poor diet. There you go. McDonald's. Lance is in the house. Craig, should you ever buy a Crador with the spring drive movement? I've seen a few Cradors that are pretty nice, but no, I don't see a need because I think this 002 is fine, and there's nothing I would change on this watch. I mean, the more I study it, the more I wear it, the more I use it, there's just nothing I would change. Just like when I had the Date-8, there was nothing I would change on that watch. It was perfect. I mean, so if you buy the right watch, you shouldn't really have to do any changes on it. The SBGY002 has the beads of rice bracelet, and the smaller links makes it adjustable, insanely comfortable. Okay, good point. Grand Seiko USA has their hands up their butts. They're not going to offer micro adjusted clasp. There you go. Craig, we should really do the show on the big three. Do they have anything better than the 002? I've looked at those watches. We did a show where we compared competitive options. I did a show already. It's in the can where we did that, and the short answer is no. They really didn't have anything that could trump the 002. But we can do another one. We can do one where what we'll do is we'll have Lance send in links of competitive options to the 002. Lance and anybody else that wants to do it, that wants to participate. We'll have you send in links, and we'll all take a look together, and we'll compare. And probably what we're going to find is there's probably going to be nothing that even comes close. Let's see. That was a cool 9F Gold Stunner, says Sam. Leon says, buy a Seiko with a spring drive movement in it, such as the Seiko LX or the Tuna spring drive. Don't waste the money on a GS. I don't know if it's a waste. I think the 231 there, the 231 Stunner, or the 005 there, I mean, you know, with the 9F, either way, but I think that 231 Stunner is far from a waste of money. I think it's pretty much the way to go. Now, any of these things should be for somebody that's successful and has a lot of disposable income, because if you're not successful and you don't have a lot of disposable income, in my opinion, you shouldn't be buying any of these watches. These are expensive toys, folks. These are expensive things. Let's see here. When I see real estate agents driving really expensive cars or car salesmen with a really nice watch, I just figure I'm not getting a very good deal and paying too much in commission. Yeah, but that's not usually the case. Usually usually you're going to pay about the same commission for a lousy real estate agent as you're going to pay for a good one. And that's usually negotiable at the time that you do the listing. So you could interview a couple of different realtors, right? But usually, generally speaking, you're better off hiring a really successful realtor who sells a lot of properties. Usually that person is going to do a better job marketing and moving your house than some yamoke who works part-time and is a total loser. So there's that. Kyle's in the house. I can't decide what is the best way to go with my next watch. Too many choices. Mr. Q in the house, I'd rather take Presage with the acrylic dial instead of a Crador. There you go. We need to see the old 9F next to the new gold Stunner you have. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's apples and oranges. It really is. Kyle's in the house. Someone that owns a Big 3 watch needs to Skype in and tell us why we should buy one instead of a Rolex or GS. That would be a tough sell, I think. But besides Carlos, we know he has the Patek. Yep. I like the 231. The 005 just seems like a quartz wannabe Explorer knockoff. Leon in the house. Yeah, but it's a really high quality Explorer 2 knockoff. It's really well done. Eduardo's in the house. Craig, I sent you pictures of Versace sunglasses I like and don't know why I like them so much. Okay, we'll take a look. Craig, do you think these Steel Sports Rolex investors who claim that gold is inferior because it's soft, is that code for I don't have the money for the gold model? Yes, pretty much, yeah. If I buy another house, I'd have to get Rachel Smith as a consolation prize included in the deal. Well, that would be a pretty good deal. Completely disagree. I want my real estate agent to look like a baller, not a bum, says Triforce. What is the obsession with wanting those around you to not succeed? Kyle, your next watch should be solid 14 karat Oyster Perpetual date. An agent only makes money if they make moves, and I want mine to be a big-time mover. There you go. I still think the AP Royal Oak is ugly. You're right. If they made a modern option, that would be for sure. Okay. Rachel Smith has not done a show lately. Yeah, I got to try to get her to do a show. She's running a million directions. She's got 5 kids, and they're all at home because the schools are shut down, and now they're saying they're going to keep them shut down this fall. I mean, it's totally insane. Totally insane. Here are these. Now these are ugly. Now these I would pass on. If that's what you're talking about. Those are that looks like something you would wear after you left the eye doctor, right? And he gave you something to wear because your eyes are sensitive, and he gave you some like real cheap like $3 glasses to put on because your eyes are sensitive to light. That's what that looks like. Yeah, I'd kind of pass on that. So yeah, that's an intervention there. We'll pass on those. By the way, we're going to wrap this up pretty soon. We did start early now, so I'm not quitting early. We started early. Let's see. Sorry I'm late again, Craig. was making things happen. Fella, yeah, duh, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Brett, should be 18 karat. Okay. I wouldn't own a Royal Oak because I wouldn't pay day-date prices for a watch made from an industrial budget metal. It's a good point. Leon says, is Bree still hiding at home? She best come out before they lock down again. They're talking about, well, first of all, a lot of places have been locked down, haven't been out of lockdown. And they're talking about tightening things up again, and they're talking about a stay-at-home order. I mean, these Democrats will do anything to destroy the economy and to try to win the election in the fall. I mean, they will do anything. They don't care how many people's lives they destroy, how many businesses they ruin for good. They just don't care. That's how they operate. I'm convinced of it now. Let's see. How was Mexico? Okay, 5 kids. I like my cigar, but I take it out of my mouth once in a while. Let's see. W.C. Fields. Those Versace sunglasses are the official spectacles of the Rich Geezer Patrol. Okay. Rich Geezer Patrol. Eduardo, it's amazing. My girlfriend just left today, so I'm relaxing solo. Okay. Well, they were claiming that you don't even have a girlfriend, that was all made up because you didn't show her on the live stream. So Brett, they were questioning you. I stood up for you. I said no. I think it's all good, but you know they were questioning you in the chat. Let's see. Cheetown, my girlfriend doesn't like them, and that may be the reason why I want to get them. The vaccine from Oxford University is making progress. Yeah, but the media will try to figure out a way to shoot that whole thing down and spin a bad story out of that. Let's see. No way in hell am I taking Kill Gates vaccination. At Eduardo, you should let her have that one victory. Absolutely, yeah, you should pass on those glasses. Leon's in the house. I'm for letting the Democrats try to run the country for the next 4 years and fail, leading to the GOP taking control again. Yeah, hopefully then they'll take control of all three. You know, they'll get the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Hopefully that would be how that whole thing would work out. Of course, it doesn't make that much difference. All of these yamokes, they all spend money like drunken sailors, and it really makes not that much difference. It's sad to say, but pretty much true. Let's see. Tim's in the house. Police checked up on me again yesterday to see if I'm quarantining. If they come around during the show, I might Skype in so you can say hi. Yeah, absolutely. We haven't seen any day dates today. Did we show a day date today? We talked about day dates extensively, but I don't know if we showed one. Mr. Q's in the house. TGV must have been deported before COVID-21. Derek says, Craig, you and Bree were going to do a show at your AD. Well, I mean, I can't do it until she comes over here. She's saying she's going to come the second week of September. So mark it on your calendar. That's what she's saying. So we'll see. I'm ready to go. It's appointment only down there, but I think I can get an appointment. I didn't buy my other day date from them, by the way. I bought it from an AD down in Virginia. So we might have to go down to my AD down in Virginia because they'll probably roll out the red carpet because I've already bought a day date from them. So we'll see. Maybe my local AD will treat us right. Let's see. Craig, but here's the thing. Rolex ADs sometimes don't treat people that great. I mean, I've heard reports that they can be kind of uppity. So there's how that works. Lance is in the house. Craig, I don't think that I can find a watch that is better than the 002. It's just too stunning. The only watch that comes close is the Omega DeVille Trésor. Okay, well, we'll look at that. We'll look at that when we do the show. And Kyle B. Serve is absent. Yeah, where's he? Does he have a note from his doctor? If these people don't have a note, you know, we got to come down on these people. Sam's in the house. All right, we're going to wrap it up. That's what we're going to do. Breaking news. St. Louis prosecutor is charging the couple that had their guns out on the property when the BLM terrorists stormed through the gate into their private subdivision. Is that true, Durr? Is that true? That'll be unbelievable. Megan says, I'm here. We're getting ready to wrap up, Megan. Craig, is that Rolex AD in McLean, Virginia, because they might have a big wait list? Well, it's actually Tyson's Corner Mall. It's in the McLean area, but it's more, I think, Tyson's Corner, I think, is more the mailing address. It's Tyson's Corner Mall. They're in the main Tyson's Corner Mall. So, yeah. You're correct. I will buy another new Rolex. You're correct. I will not buy another new Rolex due to AD snobbery. Wow. Let's see. Sam says, I had an AD laugh at me on the phone when I asked if they had a Hulk. Boy, am I glad I didn't get it. Went for the GS instead. Well, there you go. Eduardo's in the house, and you probably love the GS. Lance, no, the DeVille has nothing on a white tapestry dial 18238. There you go. And Megan, did you see a... By the way, if you listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, he interviewed a couple of guys about the UFOs on a recent broadcast. It was pretty interesting. Pretty interesting stuff. Kyle's in the house. Good night, folks, says Leon. And the governor is going to pardon them. Let's see. Do they have a Republican? No, do they have a Republican governor there? I don't know about that. I don't think so, do they? Megan, yeah, Megan's got a wrench. Yeah, she's all over the place. Okay, Durr, the USA is going to hell because of the left. It's going to come to the point where we're going to see another civil war. Oh, well, be ready, folks. Everybody be ready. Lance is in the house. The 18238 with tapestry is a beautiful watch. Absolutely. The governor will pardon the McCluskeys. Okay, Mr. Q. We can't end yet. Derek says, please. Thanks for a great show. See, Lance is saying we can wrap it up. He's saying we got a good show in the can. Dur, you can use your deep sea to bludgeon the libs in that event. The thing is a hammer. Pardon, Sandusky. Okay. All right, folks. Bree was in earlier, so we'll show her website since she did make an appearance. She made an appearance, so we'll show her website. By the way, she lost some Patreons recently. She needs some more Patreons, folks. Somebody go in and sign up as a Patreon. Sam says, no, we can't end. We got to end. We got to end. We got to end. I got to eat. I'm hungry. So go to brieffitdance.com and see if you can show some support. And also, I want you to click subscribe and click the little bell so you get notifications. Tri-First Rich says, in the event of a civil war, I'd run to Craig's house and bunker with him. There you go. Absolutely. You'd be welcome. Let's see here. All right. That's the end of that. That's the end of this broadcast. So everybody enjoy the rest of the week. That's what I say. Hey, click subscribe, click the little bell.